We're back, and this time, if you couldn't tell by the title, I'm back with a non-running sneaker. If you're a regular to the channel, you'll know that I love my runners, but here and there I'll pick up some other kinds of sneakers, whether they're lifestyle or basketball sneakers. And before getting into it, be sure to follow me on Instagram at StuffDylanLikes for updates on things like pickups and random sneaker pictures that I take. So getting into the box, this time around I have a pair of Jordans. And speaking briefly about it, there isn't a whole lot to it. It's just a basic black box with Jordan branding here and there. So opening it up and getting straight into the sneakers, they aren't a classic model like the Bred 11s that I have in my collection. Rather, they're more of a basketball-inspired lifestyle Jordan. A lot of people actually rag on this sneaker model, and I don't exactly see why. I'll talk a bit more about it later, but here they are, a pair of the AJ1 Lows in the pine green colorway. I watched a few video reviews on these before getting them, and I'm glad I did, otherwise I'd be surprised by the materials on here. The leather on the white parts of the sneakers, so particularly at the toe and the mid panels, is in this glossy leather, and not in a matte leather that you'd expect. You can kind of see it in the camera now with the natural lighting of my room coming in here, but you can see that shine there. Some people say that they're a patent leather, but in seeing them in hand, I can confirm for you that they aren't. And to confirm my suspicion, I pulled these out from my collection, which is the Air Jordan 1 High from the Fearless pack, which is in an all-over patent leather. So I made a video on these a few months ago, and if you haven't checked it out, be sure to check the channel. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with them, and I still don't know what I want to do with them. But in any case, these are in an all-over patent leather, and in seeing them side by side, there is certainly a difference between the two. There's more of a shine and a gloss and even a plasticky feel to these Air Jordan 1 Highs in, of course, a patent leather as we know, compared to this pair on the Lows, which is much softer and has a certain give to it. And having these in hand and looking at them even closer, there's a certain crinkling aspect to the shiny parts of the leather, and it reminded me of not only the shattered backboards that recently released, but also a pair that I have in my collection that I'll go grab right now. And they are these, the Jordan 1 Phantoms that I have. The leather on these are similar to these in the sense that they both have this sort of wrinkled look to them straight from the factory, with the difference being that the Lows are in a shiny finish, while these Phantoms are in a matte. In getting a glimpse of those two other pairs and back to this Low, I'm interested to see how the leather will hold up over time and how it'll crease, because I know that's always a concern with Jordan 1s, whether it's the highs or the lows, even the mids. As far as the pine green sections on the sneaker goes, they're not in a leather like you'd imagine, rather more of a nylon material. So there's a certain texture to it, and when you rub your finger against it, you could actually hear it. So with this texture, it's not quite a satin or a leather, but it's more of this sort of winterized, all elements material. While I think a smooth leather probably would have been better, it was probably cheaper to use this material. Like the leather, interested to see how these will look in a few years. Moving to the tongues of the sneakers, you get that same pine green in a nylon material. It's a much higher cut than you'd see in something like a Nike Dunk or an Air Force One. And actually, I'm a big fan of it. I like the way it sits, especially with some crew socks and shorts. Maybe even with pants too. I think the higher cut will add a little more of a pop. And while at the tongue, you get glimpses of black through the Jumpman logo and the 23. The black color obviously also extends to the swoosh and the embroidered wings logo at the back heel. Moving down the sneaker is a pure white midsole that complements the white leather hits. I probably would have preferred to have it in the sail color, like how it is on the Jordan 1 High, the pine green 1.0, but honestly this white just works fine. And to close out is a pine green outsole, which is the same outsole that you'd find on any other Jordan 1. As far as sizing goes on these, I'd stick to your true Nike size. I'm always between a 9.5 and a 10, and this pair in a 9.5 fits me just fine. For being a $90 sneaker, I think these are definitely worth it. Beyond the use of interesting materials, I actually really dig the colorway on these. The pine green is reminiscent of something like a Boston Celtics colorway. And actually, this pine green 1 Low is a spin-off of the high colorway in the black toe color blocking that I mentioned a bit ago. More recently in 2020, Jordan Brand released a second iteration of the pine green colorway, which I wasn't too crazy on. And while we're on the topic of different pine green colorways, this specific 1 Low colorway is different from the Mystic Green Low that dropped in April of 2019. That green takes on more of a New York Jets-like color, while also including the black toe color blocking. So I mentioned the $90 retail price point on these, but I actually grabbed these for way below that at $63 online. Shout out to Lapstone and Hammer, a Philadelphia-based menswear boutique. There's a $10 shipping fee, but sometimes that's just a price you have to eat. This Jordan 1 Low in the pine green colorway has actually been selling out for the most part since its release in March of 2020. If you head over to Nike or Foot Locker or any other big name retailer, chances are that they're sold out in common sizes. There are a lot of cool colorways to the Jordan 1 Low, and like this pine green pair, they're also sold out. Even in store too, they'd be on display, but oftentimes they probably wouldn't have your size. That's interesting to me because a lot of people clown the Low and just don't mess with them at all. And the reason why I think these are clowned on is because sneaker people are really critical and very particular about their sneakers. Everyone in the space of collecting has their own likes and dislikes. In particular, the Jordan 1 High is so rich in heritage as it was Michael Jordan's first signature sneaker. People tend to think that anything that isn't a high or in an OG colorway or a collaboration pair or even a pair with an interesting story just isn't worth the time. And when you really think about it, there isn't a backstory to the Jordan 1 Low. It's just a hybrid model or a spin-off of the Jordan 1 High. And then it really has me thinking as to why something like the Jordan 1 Low exists, and it's honestly simple. Nike and Jordan Brand already know that they'll be getting money from people like us that are into sneakers. With something like the Jordan 1 Mid or Low, Nike is trying to appeal to the masses, to the people who don't know about sneakers and are just looking for something in a cool colorway and an easy to wear silhouette. And that's exactly why I bought these. I've always had my eye on a pair of Lows, especially given the low retail price and cool color blocking on a few of them. And when I saw a pair on sale, I knew I had to pull the trigger. I think this colorway is perfect for the summertime and would benefit well from a lace swap to maybe a white or black set of laces. But I'd love to get your take on the Jordan 1 Low. Is the Jordan 1 Low silhouette something you're actively seeking out and purchasing? Or are they something that you pass on? If you guys are liking the content, be sure to let me know by dropping a like on the video and consider subscribing to the channel. It really does go a long way and keeps me motivated to keep pushing out more videos. That about does it for this video though. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.